Alright, everybody. So welcome back to the channel again. It's your boy Mark. So, first and foremost, as usual, I just want to thank you guys for subscribing, liking, commenting on my videos so far. I do appreciate all the love that the Larry Bird video is getting. Again, I just ask you brothers and sisters to please check out my other videos as well. I know everybody loves Larry Bird, man. And of course, the title probably got a lot of people, probably drew a lot of people in. Of course, my main agenda for this channel is to highlight different players that played before my time. Because, my generation, the people I speak with a lot, they always say that, such and such player couldn't play today. And I love every bit of it because, I'm a basketball historian and I like to bring forth my knowledge about the game, about players that came before my time. And, that's pretty much, the overall agenda for my channel is just to showcase these players' highlights and what they were able to accomplish during the time period they played. And just to prove, that, the NBA's been around for a while. But people act like players from, the 80s and 90s and even the 70s and 60s, just all the great players that came before, people act like that was in like the 17 or 1800s or something, man. Like, a lot of these players, you have to understand, man. Like a player like Wilt Chamberlain, who played in the 60s. When Kareem Abdul-Jabbar came in the NBA, he was still there, Wilt Chamberlain. And Kareem played all the way until Michael Jordan came into the NBA. And Michael Jordan played all the way until Kobe Bryant was in the NBA. And Kobe Bryant played when LeBron James played, and so on and so forth. So a lot of these great players, their careers overlapped with each other. So to say that, certain players just couldn't play today, I don't think people realize how close in time a lot of these all-time great players really played and how they all kind of just end up meshing together. Now, of course, as the game has gone forward, there has been different skills that players have gotten better over time. But that still doesn't mean that other great players that came before couldn't adapt their game. Like, for example, today is the three-point shooting era. There's players that came before their game would probably fit in today's era even better than it did in their era. That's number one. But yes, things increase over time. Things do get better. That's part of the game. But that doesn't mean that these players today, like their game that they have, they got that from somebody and they added their own little mix to it. That's part of pushing the game forward. That doesn't mean that certain players, if they were in their prime today, they couldn't duplicate some of the moves they're seeing certain players do today. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. But I say all that to say this. Once again, that's just the goal of my channel, to highlight these all-time great players. And today we're going to be talking about the all-time great Dominique Wilkins. So let's get right into it. All right, so a fun fact about Dominique Wilkins is he was born in Paris, France. And the reason being is because his father was in the military at the time and he was stationed over there. And then they ended up moving back to a place called Washington, North Carolina. He attended a high school called Washington High School. And he led them to back-to-back state championships in 1978 and 1979. And he was named the MVP as well for his performances in those championship games. And after he left high school, he attended the University of Georgia, the Georgia Bulldogs. He played there for 3 seasons. And for his 3 seasons there, he averaged 21.5 points per game. And he's 4th all-time in points scored for that university. And he also has the record for most points in a single season with 732 points. So he was SEC Player of the Year in 1981, and he was named to the first team in 81 and 82 as well. So he had a great career in college, and then after the 82 season, he declared for the NBA draft. And originally he was drafted by the Utah Jazz, but then he was traded immediately, and he ended up getting traded to the team that everybody knows him for, which would be the Atlanta Hawks. And in the 82-83 season, he made the all-rookie team, the all-rookie first team. And then going forward, he ended up accomplishing many things in his career. He went on to be a 9-time All-Star. He made the All-NBA team 7 times. The first team he made 1 time, and the second and third team he made 3 times each. And there was a lot of competition during the era for the forward spots, especially the small forwards. There was a lot of great small forwards in that era. People don't realize that the 80s might have had the largest group of great small forwards at one time. Other than him, of course, you had Larry Bird, Dr. J. Of course, Dr. J was getting older at that time and ended up retiring in the mid-80s. But you had him, you had Alex English, Adrian Dantley, Bernard King, Mark Aguirre, James Worthy. A lot of great players at that position, so he was competing with them night in and night out and had many great duels with them, even playoff duels. Dominique Wilkins and Larry Bird had an epic playoff duel. Game 7, if I'm not mistaken, it was the 1988 conference semis. Dominique Wilkins and the Hawks were a relatively competitive team throughout the 80s, even into the 90s, but they were never able to get past the second round. But that conference semis Game 7 duel between Larry Bird and Dominique Wilkins, all-time great duel between 2 great players. Dominique Wilkins had 47 points in that game. Of course, that was not enough. Larry Bird had 20 out of his 34 points in the fourth quarter to help close the series out. But it was definitely a great matchup. They were going at it. They brought the best out of each other. And even though they played different positions, Dominique and Michael Jordan used to have some great duels as well. If you look up Dominique versus Michael Jordan, you'll see a lot of games where they went at it and a lot of games where Dominique outscored Michael Jordan. There's a game when Michael Jordan and Dominique squared off and Dominique had 57 points against the Bulls. I'm not sure if they won that game. It was a regular season game, but he had 57 points. Jordan had 41 points. And they had a bit of a rivalry going on. Of course, when they matched up against each other, and also they competed with each other in the dunk contest multiple times as well. Dominique defeated Jordan in the 1985 slam dunk contest in Jordan's rookie season, and then of course Jordan was able to defeat him in the 1988 dunk contest. And Dominique Wilkins also won in 1990 as well. So he won 2 times. And Dominique Wilkins was not just known for his dunk contest highlights, but was a great in-game dunker. That's why he got his name, the Human Highlight Reel. All-time great, spectacular athlete. One of the greatest athletes that's ever came into the NBA. One of the greatest scorers that's ever came into the NBA. Dominique Wilkins had 10 straight seasons averaging over 25 points a game. All right, the only players that have done that more times, Jordan has done it more times, LeBron, KD, Kobe's done it, Jerry West, and I think that's actually it. And if you think about those players, when you think of the top scorers of all time, those names, Jordan, KD, LeBron, Kobe, Jerry West, they're the first names that come to your head. Karl Malone, that's another name who did that more seasons than Dominique, but he's right behind those guys. So that's the company he's in. And Dominique finished his career with over 26,000 points. He's number 16 on the all-time list. And Dominique is one of those rare players, like Kevin Durant as well, who had an Achilles tear and had a great bounce-back season. He tore his Achilles in 1992. And that Achilles, man, that ended a lot of players' careers, man. But he was able to bounce back the next season and just pick up where he left off. He was a resilient player. Also led the league in scoring in the 1985-1986 season. Dominique Wilkins, definitely an all-time great player. Unfortunately for him, he was never able to capture a championship, but he was still all-time great. Was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2006 and was named the Hawks vice president as well in 2004, and he's been that ever since. So, shout out to Dominique Wilkins. I wanted to give him a shout out today and, put forth what he was able to accomplish in his career. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And for those who are getting educated, I hope you guys learned a lot today. I thank you guys again for all the love and support. All glory be to God. You guys have a blessed day.